ma'am. We are back in session. Where'd she go?
Can I remind you to use your microphones, please?
Thank you.
Thank you.
If perhaps for the next budget workshop, if maybe she could come to us with some different schematics for how we could reorganize the staffing so that it's not a burden and yet all of our bases are covered, and that we could discuss that and look at how that would fit into the budget this year to make everybody happy.
City manager. You're still you, ma'am.
Sorry, I was taking notes. I apologize.
Okay.
All right, we're on airport. Benton, are you ready?
What about park
Yes, ma'am.
and road?
Yes, ma'am. So overall, like Steven said, the airport's in pretty good shape. The only things that I kind of asked for that I haven't really heard back on anything is raises for our team. And Sue and I discussed a couple of options. We were kind of wanting to see what the council wanted to do with that. So based on a couple of things that happened last year with the the dispatchers and that whole situation, I didn't want to do any kind of across the board raise outside of what the what the council was willing to do. So my intent was to try to throw a line item on there for meritorious increases and get certifications based on fuel quality assurance training and stuff like that for my team to help kind of kill two birds with one stone. But I do have to do something about compression. My lowest team member right now is at $16 an hour, and we're minimum wage is going up to what, 15 and 14, and we're pumping gas into airplanes. So I would like to give the staff out at the airport $1 an hour raise, with the exception of myself. If we can make that happen and I don't get anything, I'd be perfectly happy. I know that Steven has said that the fuel cell numbers that he's put on there projected are very conservative, and I would absolutely agree with him. Last year we hit around 400,000 gallons of fuel sold, and this year we're projecting 450,000. So I mean that's a big bump, but I can understand how that doesn't translate very well into budgeting practices. So I think it's doable and within our budget. It's just a matter of Steven making it work. And if we can't do that, I understand. I would like to also make one of my part-timers full-time, and if we can't do that, at least double their hours, so that we can get the 30 hours a week out of them instead of 30 every 2 weeks like we have been. Sure. I mean, overall for the staffing plan, that's the big ask that I had. If you want to go down the budget line by line, item by item, we can absolutely do that. But there's not a whole bunch of changes on our budget. It kind of just rolls over each year with a little bit of an increase.
To comment on what you just said, there's no way we can give more than 3% because your employees are covered by the union.
Yes, ma'am.
And when we give to one, we have to give to all.
Right.
We learned that last year.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I think we want to work toward merit raises, but I think that would be in place of across the board, not in addition to, at least to begin with.
Well, and that was kind of my intent to talk to Steven about it, was to put a line item in here somewhere for a bucket essentially for meritorious raises, so that I had so many.
We could do it for you, let's not do it for everybody.
Sure, no, I understand that, and that if other department heads wanted to do that, by all means.
Problem is they've got a limited budget, and yours is separate.
I have probably the most limited budget in the city. like, because mine has to
Your
stay within
budget
the
money.
airports. Right. No, I understand.
And it can't go anywhere but you.
Right,
So
but
you're
but
lucky with that.
but I also should be penalized for that.
Do you have any employees who are 2 or 3 months employed by you?
Like within 2 or 3 months? No, sir. Most of mine are a year or better.
And I don't have a problem with you changing one of your, or giving your part-time people more hours. I mean, like I said, your budget is independent, other than the fact you're covered by the union. If you can do it within your budget doesn't really affect the rest of everybody else. It's not part of the general fund, what I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yes, ma'am.
Or the utility fund for that matter, you're separate. And your money you make stays with you, as everybody knows. So if these 800-hour people need to go to 1,600 hours, or even 30 hours a week, like you say, instead of this, I'm okay with that. I don't know about anybody else. Because it's your budget, and you make your own money, you spend your own money, because you're not, what is that right? You're not autonomous, but you almost are. You can only spend your money on the airport.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think labor is a good place to put it.
Yeah.
On the high side.
Well, we just don't want to get into what we had last year to where this one's going to be paying more, then it costs us a rip over
You
here.
can't do that. If you give them more hours, but we can't give them more dollars.
Does any of your employees have to be certified to do their job?
No, ma'am. There's fuel quality assurance initial testing that we have to do that does not require certification, but then there are other QA certifications that they can go through to increase their level of knowledge of fuel systems and whatnot. But there's not a certificate for an airport operations
Or
technician
license.
or a license. I mean, there's things out there, but not specifically. You have to have this to get this job.
And I think the key word is license, not certificate.
Right.
Any other comments or discussion? Anything else, Mr. C? I mean,
Steven does a pretty good job of kind of just rolling us over year after year, and we try our best to stay within those line items the best we can. Maintenance has taken a pretty big hit over the past couple of years, but I think we've finally gotten ahead of most of it. We still have some good ways to go, but for the most part, I think our maintenance line items are in pretty good shape, and just about everything else that he initially proposed is in pretty good shape as well.
And your renovation of the old NPO is in this year's budget, or will it be in this year's one?
That's a good question.
Because I didn't see it anywhere.
Yeah,
That's the reason I'm asking.
I don't think we put it in here as a special project at all. Steven normally does a budget amendment for the airport every single year when it comes to the end of the year, because we always overspend on fuel. So, and I think that's
great. It's a wash.
I mean, yeah, it's good. Terry last year brought me in. He's like, "Why am I having to do a budget amendment for you? This is ridiculous." And then find out it was, we're making more money.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, I feel sheepish." So, yeah, overall, I think we're in pretty good shape.
so you're okay with increasing the part-timers?
Yes,
hours?
Yeah, if we can make one of them full time, that'd be great. If we can't, and just double their hours, that would be perfect. So I can get them 30 hours. Just basically where I'm working them every single weekend, because that's what they've requested. Working Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
So if you have one go full-time, is the other one going to stay part-time? And you just increase his hours?
Correct. As long as you got the retirement money and you got the help.
So for just
insurance and
the
your
big
budget.
difference for our operation would be I get an extra day out of the full timer. And yes, they would pick up benefits going full time, and that's a bigger cost. But I think a lot of people are moving away from part time work because there are no benefits. So we're slowly trying to weed out our part-time positions, and as we continue to grow and develop the team and the airport, we're going to need those hours.
As long as your budget can handle it.
Yes, ma'am.
So my question is, do you want to hire full-time and then still keep a part-time person, but increase? I know.
You want to do one of them, right?
Yes, ma'am. So to clarify,
So either one or the other.
right, I have two
Okay,
part-timers.
gotcha.
My intent was to put a full-time position on the books. They're going to have to apply for the full-time position, and then the ops supervisor and I would sit down, look at them, and decide, and among other applications who applied for it, we go from there.
Okay.
Interviews and everything.
All right. That's what I was asking. If you were going to keep one at 0.5 and have the other way at 1. Full and part-time. Okay. But you're going to merge them.
Yes, ma'am.
Merge part-time. Okay.
Well,
Possible.
I would still try to keep, I want to keep both team members. So who we're talking about specifically would be Lauren and Lucas, if you want to put names to faces, or names to lines, right? So one of them ideally would go to full-time, and one of them would remain part-time.
Right. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, sorry if I confused it anywhere, or whatever the confusion
Kind of
was.
confused me too.
And
Okay.
even if they remain part-time, you could always pick up their hours.
Correct.
Which is what I was asking.
Yes, ma'am.
If you still okay. Thank you. So you have options. All right. Anything else? Anyone else? Any other questions?
All right, Jonathan, I think you're up. You probably have quite a bit with Public Works.
So good evening. So want to start on the electric? Is that okay? 52.
You'll start on that.
So with our budget this year, we were very minimal in the electric department total. Correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen, but I think we went up just north of 50. We went line for line and just did minimal increases we had to this year.
And then looking at the staffing plan.
Yes, ma'am.
Your lineman A position is currently not open, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so, and the lineman apprentice is still open.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Can you explain why the apprentice makes more than the lineman C? Me? Just because I don't know.
Give me 1 second, please.
Excellent question.
It is.
Probably because it was a person who had been there for a while, and their salary is still sitting there, rather than going to where it would normally open.
She said lineman C. There's a name there.
Lineman apprentice is
On
open.
page 52.
Right.
Lineman apprentice is the one I'm looking at.
Yeah, page 7.
Lineman A at the top.
Right. She was asking. She was asking why the apprentice makes more than lineman C, right?
But
What is that
currently,
question?
the lineman apprentice.
Why does the lineman apprentice make more than lineman C?
Right.
That's what she's asking. Yeah.
It was certifications. Certifications.
It was a certifications in the previous budget also at the
Yeah.
same time for a vacancy that we have now.
Say that again now.
Previous certifications
Mm-hmm.
and a vacancy that we have open now.
So you're giving money for certifications for somebody that you haven't hired yet? Is that what you're saying?
No, ma'am, it was the previous budget for that position.
Okay. So what is your budget now for that position?
So it needs to be revised.
What is your?
Yes, ma'am. It depends on who we.
Okay.
It depends on who we hire and certifications. I don't have a set number. If I'm
This
honest.
is my next question. Why do the open positions have a 3% increase?
That's a great question.
And I feel that way.
Put it in there.
I feel that way
I
about
don't think
all
they
of them.
should. Exactly. All of them. I circled all of them.
Well,
I don't.
since you're saying that, I mean, if you think back, go back 3 months, 4 months at people that we've hired, and then we're turning around and giving them a 3% raise.
Correct. So, if the position is open, we shouldn't be increasing an open position by 3%. When you hire somebody, you're going to rate them at whatever pay, right?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then that's going to go into your line item. So why are we tacking on a 3% when? So let's keep our 3%
Absolutely. I do.
for everybody that's open, and then we can add that up. It's not a lot, but it's something.
It is. When you look at everything else that goes with it.
Correct.
It's factored to
Yeah.
the hourly rate.
Correct.
So, Mr.
Steven,
Bloom, are you
under?
listening? Mr. Bloom, are you still there?
Now, I will say this. There's a couple of workers who I think need to be increased who've gotten certificates, but
Yes.
not gotten the.
I have a
Okay.
note there as well. And that's excellent. You want to
Nope.
discuss it
Go
first?
ahead.
I have a note here that says those that we know or those that we feel need to have their pay increased due to certifications and licenses that they've received. I believe they need to receive that increase before the 3% is added, so that they get 3% on that as well.
Was this?
And I'm
was,
hoping
was the
I'm hoping that can be accomplished before October 1st.
was certification increase part of the budget previously?
Yes, but they didn't receive the increases.
Oh, they never got it.
And it's quite a bit.
Well, if that's the case, then they'll have to do back pay from the time they got it as well.
Exactly.
So those increases are not in here. That might
Correct.
not.
They're not, but they need to be.
They
So
can be,
for the
but they're
next
not.
budget
And then
workshop,
we can
maybe-
we can review it again.
Can we have that addressed and have
So
them
everybody
side by
please make
side?
a note so we remember.
Yes.
We just need to make sure that when an employee, and this can be a discussion that we have on certifications, you know, if somebody takes a 3-hour class, that's what is that pertaining to their job? Are
And
they
who's
just
keeping
taking
track of
certifications?
Their department, right now they
Is
have,
it in their personnel file?
yes. Because I've seen them. But they haven't received, they're signed by their department heads and by city managers, but they've not received them. Not this city manager, previous city manager. That's how much far behind they are.
Okay.
I will say some of them are the city manager before the city manager.
All right. I mean, it is what it is, but I'm just asking to be sure.
But I think we need to look
Somebody
at
call this
the,
woman and tell her all about it. I'm going to ask them to call you and tell you all that about it.
but I think we need to look at that with certificates.
I have.
If you're going to do it where it pertains to your job, I can understand. But to take courses just to take them, and then
They now have a form. I don't know when it went into effect. I know it's been at least 2 years because I've seen it in the folders. That has permission to take the class from their department head and agreement to pay for the training and to give them the dollar after they've completed it. That now exists.
okay, good.
Before it did not. It does now because some of them have it, some of them don't.
But if it does not correlate with their job duties, we will not be paying
It
it.
should not be. That's right. And it should be approved. in advance and have to do with their job duties. I agree 100%.
So we're gonna come back to this, Stephen. Can you type him? See if he's.
Can you make sure Stephen's hearing this discussion? I know
He
he's
is on,
hearing this
okay.
discussion. And
It's being recorded,
he
right?
can get with the city manager to know whose positions and how much for each employee. I've got it. I know you've got it. I just want to make sure Stephen's got it. Because unfortunately that's going to add to the budget. So we're going to have to find that much more money.
And please verify that the certifications that were received were related to.
They all are. And they're all like 40 hour classes.
Since she wasn't here,
Stephen, are you with us?
I want to make sure.
Kim actually just completed an audit today of all of the employee files to make sure that everybody, aside from the people that we're talking about, have gotten their raises for any certifications that they received. Or license. Yeah. So yeah, she just finished that.
We'll get a report.
We were talking about staffing plans. Did we get there yet?
About what?
Staffing plans?
About the electric staffing plan?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
I mean, that's what we're on.
It's in
the
another
electric
Yeah.
part.
well, I didn't realize that we had approved for the new administrative assistant. And I see that
haven't.
that's
Haven't
listed.
yet. I don't think we got her
We
yet.
haven't yet.
We haven't got her.
Okay.
Part of the budget.
Sorry, Mr. Bishop. Go ahead.
Okay. Anything else with electric questions? Concerns?
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Have we raised the electric rate? When is the last time we raised the electric rate?
It was supposed to be, it was raised last year, but right after the budget. It was 1.1%, I believe. I think I'm actually lying on that one. It was 1.1%.
And we haven't raised it again since then.
But it's due to come again automatic October 1.
Okay, so it's got a CPI in it.
Yes, ma'am.
So if we don't want to do the CPI, no CPI.
I don't think it's based on CPI.
Okay. I would like for somebody to look at that for me and let us know. Because I don't particularly want to raise them.
I can bring back exact numbers.
I don't want to raise the electric rate. I'd love to back it up, but I know I can't. But I certainly don't want to raise it.
Is this budget that we're looking at based on that raise being factored in?
Talk about the utility rate.
I'm talking about
All right,
the
electric rate.
25-26 budget. Is it based on that? That is Stephen's
CPI.
math.
I would assume yes. I don't
Okay,
want to
so
say.
if we
but-
do not raise the rate this budget, we have to redo the whole thing.
I would assume so, yes. But that's technically it's a Stephen question because that was supposed to happen for the next 3 years, automatically go in place. So common sense, I would say yes, ma'am. But that would be a Stephen question.
I know last time we withheld, I think it was gas we did not raise. Was it gas we didn't raise? Something that we did not raise.
Water and sewer.
Water and sewer, that
Yes,
we
ma'am.
knew it was supposed to go into effect. And we
Correct.
decided as a council not to do that.
Correct.
Because it was
Question.
already so high.
It's not intentional, I promise. But, question for you. In utilities, personal services, we have administrative assistant. You have 3 down there. How many administrative assistants do you have?
Just one.
Just one. So why do we have 2 extras there?
I didn't put it in there. I don't know.
Do we have part of Vicky? Does anybody know if we have part of Vicky? Let me go over here to Vicky. Hold on. Seems to me we have part of Vicky.
He's under city administration on page 5.
Page 5. I'm looking under the
There's a
schedule.
staffing plan.
Utility has part of Vicky?
I'm not sure. I'm looking at the schedules
I
over
don't
here.
think so.
The schedules tell the allocations. I'm trying to find the schedules back here. HR. Purchasing. I don't know how she's allocated. So is Vicky just allocated to the 3 of you?
She says yes.
Yes.
So where'd the other 2 come from?
I know one's one you won't. One's one you already have.
Yeah, I have one now. We're requesting for the second one because of the fiber. And the
So
third
why does
one-
it show
So
three?
why we have 3?
I didn't put it in there. I don't have a clue.
Where's the third?
Where it says 3 in front of administrative assistant, 25%.
Oh,
Page
sorry, it was on
52.
7, I'm sorry.
52.
Page 52.
That's why we got to go to this allocation back here and figure out where the other part of it is.
While you guys are looking at that, can I ask Mr. Bishop a couple questions?
Sure.
Mr. Bishop.
Yes, sir.
Couple questions for you.
Yes, sir.
So the capital outlay for a squirt truck, we're on steady pace to make sure that we have the money when that truck's done, correct?
Yes, sir. Speaking with Steve, it's been rolled over every year, and the number's going to cover it.
Awesome.
And it's due in end of 26.
Under the non-operation expense sinking funds, 10,000. We budget this year. What was that for? You remember offhand?
No, unfortunately, I do not. Hang on.
Okay.
What page is that, Mike? Or Councilman, I'm sorry.
53.
Stephen advised that we had to take all the sinking funds out because we didn't have enough money in our reserves, so that's why it's been zeroed out of all the different budgets. Just FYI.
I notice we do have some contingencies though.
Right.
To balance the budget, but if we need to, we should be able to take them out.
Well, wait, are you talking about the contingency on 53? Page 53?
There's contingencies all over this budget.
Okay, that actually should say reserves and not contingency on page 53.
I think reserves and contingencies are totally different.
They are. It wasn't meant to be a contingency. It was a contingency in the current budget, but it's meant to be the reserve that he was talking about during his presentation.
I thought it was reserves he took out.
No. Right.
And then one
He
last
said he
question.
wasn't using any reserves to balance the budget. He did.
I think he said that he had to take money to put into the reserve.
Well, we
Right.
need to know what he said.
I know.
Can you ask him if he can pop on?
He's not responding.
Oh, okay.
So
Will he be here in
somebody
person
call
for
him.
the next
He should have been
budget
here.
workshop? Anybody know?
Somebody call him up and ask him.
And while we're on that,
I'd like to finish asking
I'm
questions.
so sorry.
Did we not in the past have a fund for pole replacements?
Every year we put it in the budget, yes, sir, and it hasn't survived as of yet.
So we can get ourselves in trouble down the road for not being able to buy poles because we didn't put money away like we should have been doing.
As far as the pole replacement fee, pole replacement program that we're trying to build, yes, if we don't show effort in the past to increase the pole program, yes, you're correct.
So that money wasn't taken and used elsewhere.
No, sir.
Thank you. So is the money still there?
No, sir.
So money was allocated.
Was it taken and put in somewhere else? I'm sorry. Was it taken and put somewhere else and used for something else?
It was utilized elsewhere, yes, sir.
Do we happen to know where?
Yeah, just spill it.
That's enough.
I'd rather you ask Stephen for that question personally.
Yeah, I thought that the contingency
Make a
was
note
supposed to be part
for
of the
yourself.
whole program.
So you can ask. Make a note. Even again.
Yeah, this it's always here for the first one on the line.
I have this comment.
The phone's unmuted,
Is
Stephen.
it okay?
On my end.
Are you?
I'll just say this. I just want to make sure that we're not taking money that's set aside for poles, trucks, stuff like that. It's not being pulled away and being used in other.
It should not be.
I think it already has been in this year's budget.
That's what he's saying. But he want to know where. You have something to say, Meredith?
U.S. Energy Information Administration. The cost of electricity has gone up 4.5% this last year, and it's expected to go up again. We have to pay for that. If we don't raise our rates, we're eating that cost. So while I don't want to raise the rates on customers, if it goes up 4.5%, like we have to go up to keep up with that. Otherwise, the city continues to go into a hole. And I just think that's really bad. That's bad management, in my opinion, to not raise rates when it's outpacing inflation. The cost of electricity for the data centers and everything else is outpacing inflation. The city buys electricity, am I not correct? So,
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and so if we don't raise the rates, then the city is losing money selling electricity to customers. Am I correct or incorrect?
No, they're not losing money.
How do we not lose money if our rates are going up, but we're not raising rates that we're charging other people?
If you look at the budget, you see how much we sold. You see how much we sold it for, how much we bought, how much we sold it for, what all the labor expenses are, and there's still
So my question,
there's still over $1 million.
right? My question
we're not
for
losing
Jonathan is at what point do we start losing money if we're paying 4.5% or whatever it is increase, but we don't raise our rates?
To answer your question, you're 100% correct. I just don't know what side of the fence to take on because I can see Miss Jones's point also.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at it from a business point only, then your point of view is overshadows it. Yes, but you both make valid points. I'm not.
So I guess my question is, if we don't raise the cost by the 1% that is suggested, how many times can we do that before we start losing money?
Not very many.
But it fluctuates, right?
Yes. Yes.
Fluctuates.
Yes.
So
in theory, there's no guarantee it's going to cost us more next year. Reality is probably yes, but there's no guarantee in that.
It's predicted to because these data centers are
correct
consuming massive quantities plus the cost of our fuel and everything else that creates electricity. You can go online and find it. It's the data's
and
there.
Duke is going crazy on their rates.
Central Florida just raised theirs 9%.
Yes. Plus they have a storm charge also.
Yeah.
It goes on the percentage. Because mine was 24 this month.
any other questions?
I'm here, by the way, if you want to
hey.
ask me any questions on it.
All right. Yeah, question for Stephen is here.
It's good.
Anybody else have questions for Stephen? He's done a lot of talking to Stephen.
We have, but he wasn't there. Stephen, have you heard the things that we've said?
No, the city transmission was on mute. I was here, but nothing was coming through.
So one of the things we did discuss, and we're talking about, sorry, Jonathan, we're just going to go back just for a second, was the fact that all the open positions are getting raises by 3%, and we were wondering why they were getting raises by 3%. If it's open,
that would be up to the council's discretion, because when we do this budget, obviously we still have 2 months to go. So if somebody is hired tomorrow, would they qualify for the 3%, or would they get a prorated portion of it? That would be kind of up to how you want to handle it. That's why we start this process off with 3% across the board for all positions. And then if that's a place where, you say, well, look, if you're not, I've seen other communities, I've seen other companies do this, where it's like, okay, if you're not hired by this point of the year, then you get a prorated share, or if you're not hired by this point of the year, you wouldn't get an increase until you actually reached a full year. So that would be up to the council's discretion to make that point. And obviously, every position where we would take that 3% out would have a impact on the budget.
So if somebody just got hired 2 months ago, then we're just going to give them a 3% raise. I've never worked for a place
Based
like
on
that.
them, yeah.
Wow.
But
We know that some of the open positions have been filled. Because like in animal control, we know they're hired. We know that in electric, they're hired. I don't know about the ones in water.
Is this something that we could have like a policy on? Forgive my ignorance, but is it something where like if you're hired in the first 6 months, that's something that we should have just for clarity's sake for incoming employees?
Or even to say if you're hired in the last 3 months of the budget year.
well, I mean, even at that, if the budget has already been passed and that position was vacant,
Not giving them 3%.
correct. That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, sir. Mr.
So the way that it should work is we have a pay chart, and there are pay grades associated with each job description. The problem that we have currently in the city is that we haven't had a pay study done in several years. The pay chart was last updated in 2012, and we had an addendum to update it in 2018. But ideally, a crew worker, would be a pay grade 2, and then you go to the chart. Pay grade 2 is this, this bottom dollar to this top dollar. You hire them at the bottom dollar plus up to 15% in accordance with the HR manual, based on experience. That's how it should work.
Yeah, but we're talking about a new employee that's hired doesn't automatically get a 3% increase.
Right. No, I understand that. I'm just saying, like, according to the HR manual, that's how it should work. Is they get brought in at pay grade 2
Right.
plus up to 15%. After that, that's like Steven said, it's up to y'all's discretion. If y'all want to give them 3%, you give them 3%. If not,
We don't.
understood.
I'm sorry. I don't.
I don't think I do either.
I don't want to do it.
I just want there to be clarity
Yeah.
so that whoever is coming in and whoever's
Knows.
currently here knows what they can expect.
Correct.
Why did this person get 3%? Does that conflict with union? Et cetera, et cetera. I just would like some clarification on that. So there's no.
So I would say, other than the police department, which we just did totally different pay for it, that no open position that he could back out the 3% on all open positions.
But does that conflict with the union collective bargaining agreement?
No, I mean the person's not even here.
Okay. All right.
They're not hired yet.
Sorry. Yeah, I just don't know.
They're not. I mean, if it's open position, there is no person currently holding it. So you're not taking money away from somebody. You know what I'm saying? You're just not giving them an increase in 2 months after October 1st.
So by eliminating, if they could eliminate any open spots before the budget comes out, it's not accounted for.
Right.
So that'd be the best way.
I don't know that I want to eliminate all the open positions.
I just want to eliminate the 3%.
Right, the increase.
Right.
It can
In
stay
the
there
open
because you need to
position.
have some numbers because somebody's going to have to fill that spot.
I agree.
But eliminate the 3% out of any open position
And
and leave the base wherever it is because they may come in at a different pay.
right.
Yes, sir.
I think you're right. If you leave the base where it is, you're fine. If you call it a COLA, it's just everybody who's on the roster October 1st gets that.
Right.
You can leave the base where it's at, and that will help with compression as well.
And Stephen needs to know that 2 of the open positions that I'm aware of, there may be more than that, but there's 2 that I'm aware of that are currently filled. So don't do it to those 2.
And we need to know what their amount is. If it's
Yeah, what their real
truly this
amount
or
is.
if it's more, excuse me.
And that would be the animal control, code enforcement officer, and also this lineman A. I know those two are full, are filled.
Madam President.
Yes, Mayor.
Counselor Jones, are you saying that someone that has been put on the payroll, but because they haven't been here X amount of time, those people are exempt from receiving the raise?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said those positions.
I didn't say.
These two say that they're open, and they're really not. There's people that have been hired.
Yeah. So they are
They are not
employed.
exempt for the 3%.
Huh?
They're not exempt from 3%.
Right.
They still get it.
They do get it.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that's fine. I just like things to make
Based
sense.
on this, they're already here.
So, anybody hired before this budget is approved would get the 3%, and anybody hired after it would not. And I
But you still got people who have
As
been
of
here.
October 1st, I have to say.
Right.
You still have people who've been here for a couple of months. Why do they deserve 3% raise?
Because we do not have.
It may have been promised to them when they were hired. If they were hired at a lower rate, somebody said, "Oh, you don't get a raise every month."
because we are not doing evaluations and things
Correct.
of that nature in order to, give a raise. Which I think one department is utilities doing it currently.
Say that again?
Are you guys doing evaluation?
No.
I thought Donald said they were doing.
I think Donald has them.
No, but we've done them in the past, but they're not tied to the raise. No, ma'am. That's for internal use only.
No, it's not necessarily tied to the raise, but it gives that person an idea of whether or not they are doing a good job or not doing a good job.
Absolutely.
They need to approve or not, if you need to get rid of or keep.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree 100%.
Oh, I know. I thought everybody was going to start off.
Do we want them to? No. They have to write them first. The job specific. Yeah, and then Ms. Kim gave us an example of one that she wanted to use, but we didn't do anything with it.
All right. Well, we'll have to get back to that on a later date.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
We were talking about the new administrative. We were trying to figure out these.
We weren't there yet, right? Oh yeah, we were asking about the
We were. The fact that it shows 3 and we only know.
Right.
Steven,
Of
can you
one.
help us out with the we're under. What part are we under? I know, but which part of your utility fund? The electricity. Under electricity, that's awesome. But it says 3 administrative assistants. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please, sir? If you have an idea.
It's under the Public Works Administration.
Yes, so there's only 2 administrative assistants. There's one public works administrator. That's Donald.
That's the new one that he wants that we haven't approved yet.
Say that again.
But over here it says there's 3.
So we have. Was it Christy
Yes, ma'am.
and Donald?
You have Christy, then you have Miss Vicky for Miss. We only have 2 on staff right now.
He said Donald.
Donald wants to hire one. That's the one Mike brought up. We haven't approved it yet, but it's on here.
So why is Miss Vicky part of the utilities?
She's not. I was just stating there's only 2 administrative assistants, period, working for the city right now.
What'd you say, Mr. Bloom?
Not 3.
Mr. Bloom, can you tell us where Vicky is split out? Vicky.
Yes,
Help me with that thing. Corbin.
Oh, maybe that's what I did. I'm sorry, you're right. 25% in admin, and then 70% split over 5 utilities. You're right. I'm sorry. That would be the third one.
25% admin.
In the general fund, similar to the city manager, and then the other was it 75 math here right. Sorry, not 30 then. Yeah, it's 30 and 70.
So you have one administrator that's 70% admin for the city manager, the city clerk, and HR.
And utility as well.
So
So
she's
they're-
doing
they're-
part of utilities as well.
That's the Vicky Corbin position.
So Vicky Corbin is only 25%?
30% in the general fund, and then the rest is utility.
What's the general fund? Why is she 30% in general fund?
It's everything but utilities.
For Vicky?
Yeah, but she shouldn't be.
Right. So Vicky is in utilities, the administrator assistant for utilities.
Vicky,
All 5, right?
Vicky Corbin is actually the administrative assistant for the city clerk, the city for HR, and the city manager.
Not Vicky Christie.
And I don't know that she
sorry,
needs
you
to be anywhere in utilities. Christy Richardson is the one that needs to be split across all utilities.
Correct. But 100% from utilities, yes. But it's
Right.
split across, yes.
And if you have Vicky 25% of utilities, then there's no need for another administrative assistant.
So Miss Christie's 100% works on utilities. Miss Vicky works for HR.
Well,
City
he
manager.
has her split 70-25, 70-30.
No, I see that, but that might just be part of the.
And that may have been the case when Renee was there, because Renee was helping with GFL and that sort of thing, but we may not have informed Mr. Bloom that she has a different job description now.
Who, Renee?
Renee's not here anymore.
Oh.
But Vicky took her place, and Vicky is no longer. Vicky is not doing anything with utilities.
But the other person was.
But the other person was.
Then why
She was
is
balancing.
Vicky not doing utilities? Then she should do the same, right? That would help to offset.
Actually, I think Selena has Megan doing the GFL balancing.
Yes.
Instead, they took it all to utilities because GFL is really a utility.
So Megan's not helping Christy at all?
No, Megan
I was
does
told that she was.
accounts payable, and with that, she takes care of the GFL account, the solid waste.
That Renee used to do.
And
Who was
that's-
administrative
And that's
assistant.
part of what?
Utilities.
So that is part of utility.
Christie's all utilities.
Yes.
But Vicky's not. She doesn't need to be in utilities at all. Unfortunately, we just added to the general fund budget. Stephen, are you getting any of this?
So she does. I'm sorry, not Christy or Vicky. Who's the other person?
Renee that used to be here, but she's not here anymore.
Right, but somebody else is doing GFL. Who's that?
Megan.
Oh,
Megan is
yeah.
doing GFL.
She's accounts payable.
Okay. So you gave her collateral duty.
Yeah, well, she reconciles the account because she pays the bills.
Uh-huh.
So she reconciles the account and keeps up with that. And then between customer service and her, they handle any of the calls and complaints that come in.
Which is really where it should have been all along.
Yes.
Not
Well,
over there.
no. All along, it was supposed to be on GFL. But that's a whole other story.
That's true. That's true. But it's still utilities.
That's a
not
whole other
administration.
conversation.
Okay. So Stephen, you up to par with us now?
I think so. The only thing I'll add is that Vicky follows a similar allocation approach as the city manager, HR, all of those folks, those departments are allocated against the utility fund as a part of the shared cost approach. So it doesn't necessarily, confusing, I understand. It doesn't always equate to what they're doing for the utility department as an allocation.
Okay. So
But I understand I'm following.
But it's confusing.
Where we're at.
But this third administrative assistant that they want to be full-time in utilities, a second utility administrative assistant, that's the one we need to discuss, whether we're going to do it or not.
And that'll be at a regular council meeting.
No, it'll be here.
Part of
It
the
could be
budget.
here as
I
well.
thought we deferred it
We'll
to
do
the
that
budget.
regular council. We have to do it here as well.
I think we deferred
this
it.
is where-
When Ms.
But we
Sue
have to
asked for it,
approve
we
it.
deferred it to this budget meeting.
Yeah, but we need to discuss. We need to discuss it. So, in all actuality, we really only have one administrative assistant in utilities,
Yes. Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, so I can change that. Maybe. Are these changes going to be on our next?
Yeah, as long as Stephen hears it.
Gotcha.
Stephen, did you hear
All
that?
right, Stephen heard
Did
it.
he hear the discussion about the utility, about electric and utilities, about the licensure money? Did you hear that discussion, Stephen?
Did not.
I was afraid of that.
Apologize.
Go ahead.
I'll fill you in on that later.
Okay, so Miss Sue's gonna fill you in and give you a list of people's names and dollars.
Council President Hinds. Vice President Cox need to say what he said about the polls. Stephen didn't hear you.
I know that at some point we had where we were building a fund for pole replacement, and was just wondering, I didn't see anywhere on here where that was still happening. The money was being put into that fund. So when we need to replace poles, we have poles and the money to be able to buy them.
It's a good question. This budget does not have any individual sinking funds. The reason being is until the main fund is better replenished, it does not make a whole lot of sense to start trying to establish stuff, funding like this.
But I thought we've been doing that for the past couple of years.
Not for poles.
Okay.
I thought we actually had a line item last year that said pole replacement. It could have been in capital, Could have been in the capital budget last year, rather than in a line item. But I'm virtually positive I remember seeing a line item that said pole replacement. And I think that money's gone. I think it's disappeared somewhere.
I guess the question I would have for the staff there is, and I don't see one in the budget capital either, is how is that going to relate with the fiber project where they're going out working through the pole?
So the fiber project is to make ready for the poles, but the fiber project does not touch all the poles. So it's helping in some areas. So it's helping in some areas, but it's not doing a complete coverage. If that's what you're thinking, no, sir.
No, I wasn't expecting complete coverage. I just thought that was part of the arrangement, and that was where the last time that part of it was brought up that they starting to build that. I don't see anything this year or last year.
Okay. So there's no sinking funds this year?
No, I mean, and the ones in the past were, like I said, was not for electric. We had some that we had started for water, like for hygiene.
Right.
Sewer. Even we tried one for gas, but like I said, we've got to first deal with the core. I see electric at 10,000 in the fund. Maybe that's what we're talking about, but that has not been truly funded because that money was used for other items within the utility fund, other contingencies.
So if we voted to start a sinking fund or set money aside, then how did that money that was going to be set aside get spent if it was allocated for something else?
Well, it's 2025. We haven't finished 2025 yet. So I can't really answer, if there's sufficient funds, then I was sure we'll put that set aside at $10,000. It's not a whole lot of polls, but we can certainly try and do that. But if I can't answer that question yet, I guess I'll leave that until we get close to June.
So I have a question. We have 3 trucks sitting in the yard that were purchased that are sitting there. Let's sell them and put that money into the polls.
What trucks are those?
Well, Sue, you want to elaborate?
So there were 5 trucks that were purchased since I have been city manager, and I was told by Danny Wallace today that 2 of them have been allocated to 2 sewer employees. The other 3 have not been allocated currently. But again, this is coming directly from Danny. I believe Donald is on the line. Donald may be able to talk about this more, but as of right now, there's 3 currently that we purchased that are not allocated.
So why did we purchase vehicles if they were not needed?
Not true. Hey there, Aaron.
Not true. What?
Who is that?
Yeah, you're on. Go ahead.
Hello? Okay. So the trucks have been allocated. There were 2 Ford Rangers that were previously in the utilities that became the fiber techs. So because the fiber techs needed 2 trucks, there were 2 trucks that were purchased to replace those 2 trucks. So that's 2 of the 3. The third one is not been assigned simply because there was a title mess up with the federal government, and it took about 3 months for the title to come in. And Danny, I believe, I think Monday, finally got the title in from the state. They sent it to a wrong state, and another city mistakenly titled our truck. So that was taken care of Monday. That truck is being allocated to either the locator position or putting another employee that's riding double, or there's a couple employees that are still riding double that would put them in their own truck. So we do not have trucks that are sitting there that do not have a staff member to be in them.
Okay, that was just
There's still a couple other wish list items like a van for the inmates if something were to happen to the inmate van that we have because it has so many miles. So Danny's been looking for a van. And then, of course, they're also trying to find trucks that are like diesels that are 350s or 450s to be able to haul equipment because the smaller 250s that we have are really getting beaten up hauling around the Mini and the skid steer and those. So those are the only 2 items left that we're looking for good deals on, but there is no truck in the fleet that doesn't have a member of staff that needs the truck.
Okay,
so that was
one of my biggest complaints that I get from citizens is why is it that every employee has a truck when they used to be running 2? Just saying what customers are saying. But, probably if this would have been communicated to us, these trucks, as far as the council, as to where we're looking to buy this and buy that, because the 6 for the total that I got that came from Sue ended up to about $66,000. So that's, we're trying to look for money. What are we going to do with? Okay, never mind.
So you spoke to 3 trucks. What about the other 2?
Well, as they mentioned, those were already assigned. I was answering the 3
Oh,
that
the
they
other
were saying
2
was
was
not
already
assigned.
assigned. Okay, gotcha. I understand now.
Yep, ma'am. And as far as the purchasing, 5 trucks, I believe, have been purchased under Sue. The other many trucks were purchased under Mr. Terry Brevard. And, the same process has been continued. There was a need identified. There was authorization given. And there was funding discussions that happened with Stephen. There were funding discussions that happened with the city manager at the time. All the trucks that we've received have been at fractions of prices that we could have gotten the trucks. And if the council ever wishes, and by the way, a couple of the trucks, many of the trucks replaced trucks that we actually did get rid of. We sold, I believe Danny Wallace could answer this, but we sold, I think, 2 or 3 trucks to salvage because they weren't repairable without having a cost greater than a new truck or another used truck. And then there were trucks that we just processed out because they were getting to the point where they were being, unuseful as far as how much they would cost to repair or maintain. So we didn't just buy trucks. There were many trucks that were replaced. And again, there's breakdowns for all of that. Altogether, I think that Danny and Steven can provide a number, but altogether, I mean, if we look at what new vehicles cost, retrofitted, most of the utility bed trucks are anywhere between $65,000 and $80,000, and the average truck was purchased, I think, for around $6,000 to $9,000 a truck at the absolute. There were some that were more expensive, but there were many that were even cheaper than that. So but there's we still have staff that are riding together, even with the amount of trucks that we have. And at any time, if council wants to get out of any of the trucks we purchased, money will be made because of how inexpensive we were able to acquire the vehicle.
Okay, thank you, Donald. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, you can continue, Mr. Bishop.
I'm at your will. I'm.
So where are we at now? We just finished electric, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Where are you going now?
You want to do gas next? Just go in order?
Yeah, I guess that's fine. We can do parks next if you wish. Page 32.
What page?
Page 32, parks.
Okay.
And once again, please ask any questions. We went up, Stephen, correct me, we went up 38,000, correct? For this line item for line item?
You're talking about which?
For parks.
For gas?
Well, no, actually, that's for all of them. I don't have the numbers broke down I did all three in one. I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
But basically, we did the same thing. Did our bare bones needs with no fluff.
Okay.
For all three departments.
So in parks and service, in parks, I don't see the administrative assistant.
I agree, but I don't know how to answer that question. That's a Stephen question.
Steven.
The administrative is not in parks.
So is that something that we need to change? Because I think she's over parks. What else? No.
Is there any
Ms. Hinds, what you're looking for is
parks?
the reason why the administrative assistant is not coded to parks, roads, or facilities is because it is funded out of utilities. And for the purposes of the transfer and any kind of future thing that the legislature would do, you don't want those salaries in general funded positions. It would increase your transfer.
Gotcha.
So although she does work for parks, roads, and facilities, typically your administrative assistant, all 5 years we've been doing budgets, Jonathan and I, have always been completely out of the enterprise fund.
Huh? Say that. I'm sorry. Say that again. That just really went over my head.
Budget.
Sorry.
All 5 years we've done the budget, the administrative assistant for utilities has always been out of only the enterprise fund, even though they do parks, roads, and facilities, which was formerly streets and parks. That's a general fund budget item. So again, Stephen can answer that, but the reason why it's not billed out of that is because you don't want salaries coming as much out of the general fund as you do out of the enterprise fund.
Yeah, I mean, that's just goes back to when we were talking about the millage rate. The general fund can only hold so much, and adding, more for some of these other splits would make it even tougher for the general fund to operate.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
I don't know where I'm at.
differently.
Page,
If we
page
were
32.
we would allocate another 30,000 that position to the general fund. We would just have to increase the transfer to cover it.
So page 33, you have roads once again, and page 34, simply put very minimal raises or increases and everything. I don't really know what you want to hear, so ask me anything you want. I'll do my best to answer. But like I say, everything we raised was a need, not a want or a fluff.
Jonathan, why don't you talk to the line items that have large increases, like salaries and wages, training, vehicle repairs, that kind of thing.
Absolutely, if I can find it. I think I lost that page, actually. Give me 1 second.
Page 33.
No, ma'am, I have my notes and trying to find it in
sorry.
the notes. Oh, you good.
What kind of training and seminars will the roads people go to? Will that be
So
training
what I'm hoping to do is
inmates?
start doing a herbicide and what's the other fancy word? Anyway, it's a spray program for the weeds and program, so we can start buying them chemicals at a cheaper rate and doing a better process and just going through the stores and getting it. But they need licensure to legally do it. And so I got with the UF department over in Bronson, tentatively set up some courses, and we're discussing prices so I can bring it back to the council. So we're not moving forward with anything. But it's my goal that I want to lean towards.
That's through IFAS, maybe?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely
Okay,
it is. And unfortunately, I couldn't get it done before the budget. For that, I apologize. But it's not that I wasn't trying to.
So repairs and maintenance have increased by 10,000.
Everything's increased. I don't know how to say it, be polite, but everything's getting more expensive. And yeah, the equipment is getting older, but that's the point where we're forced to buy new. Still worth putting money into. It's just getting more and more expensive every year.
So tell me about the vehicle bill.
I gotta figure out where I raised that, if I'm honest with you.
It was 15. It
Yes.
was projected to be 7,700.
Yes, and I brought it up to 12. Yeah.
But I guess it so far it's been it's 1,500, but you increased it to 3,000. Is that just for the parks vehicle?
Yes, man. I'm sorry for that. I'm looking at the wrong notes. Yes. Just looking at what we spent, what I think we're going to spend in the future, for that low amount, it was just easier to double it. Because it was a low amount. It was 10 grand. I wouldn't have done 20, but.
Okay. It's really not a lot, huh?
No, I tried to be respectful this year, I promise. Still painful, though.
So we pay for uniforms for your guys?
Yes. For those guys, we buy them outright. And for the other, we have an FR program also. So one we lease, one we buy outright.
Any other questions? Anybody? Anyone have any questions?
Not for that area, no.
Okay. You can go to the next one, please, sir.
So last but not least, we have facilities, page 34.
Did you say facilities?
Yes, ma'am. Page 34.
Yeah, I have a. The only real question I had in facilities I thought was very interesting. Trying to find my page here. Under facilities on the staffing plan, you show two positions. One is open and one is filled. The one that is filled makes less money than the open one. If anything, I would like to move the current filled position to the open position and leave the lower one as the open position.
That's fair enough.
I mean, I don't know if it's fair, but it makes sense to me that somebody who's here and been here would make more than somebody who's not here.
But in theory, yeah. Message received.
Did Mr. Bloom hear that?
So basically, you'll make him number one and the
Yes,
open
I
number
would make
two.
the one that's here number one and the one that's not here number two.
Yes, ma'am.
Just to make sense to me.
That would be Tom.
It would.
Because I don't think that man.
He works.
He works.
Zero for that.
So now let's go. So that's it for you, Jonathan? Mr. Bishop?
What
Yeah.
happened to the
Yes,
rest of the
Yep.
utilities?
Yeah, what happened to Public Works and gas? Did we talk about gas?
We have to talk. No, ma'am. We can go over that, but Donald prepared those budgets, and I didn't want to speak for him unless he wants me to speak for him.
Well, he hasn't spoken, so.
Donald, are you doing those or is Jonathan doing those?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I didn't know you guys were to them yet.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we're in utilities since that was his last. We need to finish up. Whenever you're ready.
Gas. Yes, ma'am. Gas. We made some decreases to the advertising program and promotion program. We made decreases to the rebate and marketing program.
What page
We
is
made
that?
decreases to 55. I apologize.
Sorry, thank you.
Before 55.
He said 55.
Yes, ma'am. So I'll go back over that real quick. Advertising, promotion, marketing, and rebate program. We did drop down. The repairs to equipment we dropped down. Training schools and seminars we dropped. Vehicle maintenance and repair we increased. Other than that, there wasn't really a lot of changes other than a couple line items down at the bottom. And that was the fencing and security for $10,000.
So you said marketing rebate program you decreased?
Yes, ma'am. I believe. I mean, they should show a decrease. I was
shows-
at 10,000. I'm asking 5. On the marketing and rebate, we were at 30. I'm asking 20.
All right,
On the
wait a minute.
repairs to
doesn't show.
equipment,
It
it was
doesn't show
35.
5, it's showing
I'm
10.
asking 20.
All right, the advertising and promotion is showing 10. Should it be 5?
Yeah, I mean,
Donald,
I've changed it. Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Let me clarify. If you remember in this, I mentioned that the staff had gone back through the budget after the first version you have, start making cuts to try and balance it. So what Donald is giving you is kind of a forecast of the future, his plan, how he is reducing what you have in front of you. So when he says he has reduced moving forward in the next version that we're going to present, it's going to have better numbers in the gas department because that was one of the key places that we looked at and said we've got to get some reductions in this particular department.
Okay. So we have
I cut
5,000 for
30,000 from the
advertising.
budget, and I added 10,000 on fencing. So overall, it was a $20,000 reduction.
Can you give us those numbers again, please?
Sure. On advertising and promotion went from 10K to 5K.
Okay.
Marketing and rebate went from 30K to 20K. Repairs to equipment went from 35 to 20K. Training schools and seminars went from 10,000 to 75, and that's actually even more of a reduction from last year that was budgeted at 12. Vehicle maintenance repair, I am asking for an increase because we overspent this year, so I'm going from 55 to 8,000, which wipes out the previous line item saving. Adding 10,000 for fencing and security. There's some work at the gate stations that need to be done this year for compliance. So it was a total savings of what was proposed to you of 20,000.
So travel was increased to 10,000. What was the reason for that?
He reduced it to 75.
Where is that?
Travel?
That was one of the ones he said he's reduced.
He didn't say anything about travel to me. That I heard.
Travel.
said
Oh, I
vehicles.
see travel up there. I apologize. I didn't
sorry,
change
I'm
it from
training
last year. It was proposed at 10, and I'm keeping it at 10.
I'm sorry, say that again. We were talking. I apologize.
I didn't change it from last year.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have plans to use it because you didn't use it last year?
Yes, ma'am. We would have used it, but we had hurricanes, and so it canceled out the programs that were supposed to be attended. The hurricanes canceled them, so they would have been used, but thankfully we're able to get full refunds because of Mother Nature.
Got it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. We keep going, please.
What's next?
Yes, ma'am. All right. Next is sewer collection, page 56. And from what you have proposed on sewer collection, again, made further cuts on professional services. We're up at 50,000. We're going to drop that down to 30,000. On repairs to equipment from 10,000 to 7,500. On rental equipment from 15,000 to 5,000. From fencing and security, those are the fences that need to be put up around lift stations that are insecure. We were going to try and do 3 of them this year. We're only going to do 2 of them. So we dropped that from 30K to 20K. And then we need to start putting in generators at key lift stations, natural gas generators. We've been talking about that for years, so I did add 10,000 for that. And on lift stations, we need to get into SCADA monitoring. That's remote monitoring, so that if there's a potential for a spill that we know before sewage is spilling on the ground. We won't be able to do all of those, but we're trying to do 1 or 2 of them this year. So we had 25 proposed, but we're proposing 20. So that's a reduction of $47,500 from what we were originally asking.
This was just balancing the budget. Because again, their budget was about $400,000 off. So that was just to get it balanced. So now we still have to find 50,000. It's actually more than that. But
Stephen. I think did he say something? You heard me. Stephen there. Okay. I think there was a consensus to not do that administrative assistant. extra that they're looking for. So if you can take that
So
one
Ms.
out of
Hines,
the budget.
can I speak to that, Ms. Hines?
Sure.
Okay, so we keep talking about administrative assistant being additional. We eliminated a gas compliance position from gas that had a $12,000 higher pay rate than the administrative assistant position. So we were not adding a new funded position. We were actually switching a position from one need to a greater need, and then we saved in salary over $12,000. That didn't include benefits. So we've talked about this being added spending. If you got rid of the administrative assistant, that would add back the gas compliance position, and that would add $12,000+ to the budget.
Okay. For me, I'm okay with that because I don't like getting rid of positions just to switch to a different position. If that one was already on the books and we will probably need another gas person at some point, then we need to have that there instead of.
So we don't need that position, Mrs. Hines. It's a position that created actually some issues. We had one person doing all of our monitoring, all of our record keeping, and all of that. And when that presented that the person was not there any longer, there was a big issue with continuing on processes. So what we've done is we've now had the entire gas staff doing all those checks and those compliances and making sure that every week it switches off on who monitors the site and who records data. Because when you have one person takes a vacation or is out sick, it created an actual issue. So that's why we switched the position. Just in going through in our process, if we notice an issue and it creates a problem, we try to address that problem.
I think the consensus is, even at that we're not going to authorize an administrative assistant. And if you don't need that position, then that money can go back into the budget.
And I can tell you, look at the staffing plan, it does not reduce the current positions by whatever position you eliminated. And when I look at the number of people in gas, it is showing an open position, but it's showing the same 5 that are on the staffing plan.
So,
I noticed that too. There was no reduction.
What you're also looking at is you guys did create a locator position, which you guys voted on, and the locator position was put into the gas, and that's why you're seeing the same amount of people.
Well, the locator position is there, and there's another one that shows is open.
Correct, and that position
is the heavy equipment
that
operator.
Is open is Mr. Curry, who just became the supervisor of Parks, Roads, and Facilities.
And Mr. Curry just became. Okay.
Well, you're still going to need a heavy equipment
That's
operator.
where that. Yes, ma'am. We're cross-training everybody in there. So I mean, again, we will definitely need that position. Yes, that position will definitely need. There was
it's still
another
showing
position that
5
was simply
positions.
labeled gas compliant, and that's what I'm referring to.
That one's not listed here, and that position is not eliminated from the staffing plan. But it did add the administrative assistant, which we don't particularly want.
Yes, ma'am. I understand that. What I'm saying is then that there would be a position that we would request to be added back into gas that is in our current budget.
I think we do need a heavy equipment operator. And it's there already.
Which is a different position than the other one I'm referring to.
So if we're not giving you another assistant, now you wanted the position back into gas? You just said you didn't need gas.
Well, we won't make it part of compliance, but we'll utilize someone on the staff to do gas, water, and so on. I mean, they all cross-train. They're in a particular division, but they cross-train.
But if you don't need the position, why are we going to leave it there?
Or add it.
Because I was trying to be fiscally conscious of not increasing staffing to compete with revenue. We were trying to utilize a position that we could fill in the gaps for and then move it to a very critical need that we have. We have 10 divisions that one person is trying to manage with compliance. And Jonathan can speak to that the amount of duties that one individual has is not sustainable. It's not comparable to the other administrative assistants who are working on singular divisions.
Okay.
This individual has 10 departments, 10 reports, 10
that being
budgets
said,
that they code
then
to. It's vastly different.
we need to do some collateral duties within the department. If you have an administrator that's only doing doing 3 things, and you have one that's doing 5, then maybe one of those duties should go from one of the assistants to another, or someone else within the facility.
So with with no disrespect, that wouldn't work. In theory, you're correct, but in reality, that wouldn't work.
Why is that?
Because of the background knowledge you would need to do those departments. I would believe. I'm okay if you don't want the extra administrative assistant.
How long has she been in this position?
Christy? 3.5 years, give or take.
3.5 years.
Yep. It's not that she's very qualified and she does a great job. That's not the issue. The issue is the labor is getting worse. The amount of work is getting increased. Then when you throw the fiber on top of it,
I was told fiber's not going to be included in that. She's not doing fiber.
Correct.
So that's not.
So maybe I'm confusing. For that, I apologize. So if and when we get the extra assistant, we're going to split the duties between the two of them.
She's not in the fiber budget.
No. But like I say, if you split the duties between streets and parks, or roads, facilities, and electric and fiber, that would be enough for one person. It really would be, honest. And then if Christy stays on water, sewer, and gas, that would also be enough for one person. But by adding the fiber, it's just going to way over pendulum.
So we were told they were not adding fiber, so fiber shouldn't be part of her duties.
If you add the extra assistant, yes, ma'am.
We're not going to add the extra assistant.
I said if. So now we have to figure out how to do that in-house, which could be problematic.
I'm sure you guys can handle it. At least attempt to. All right. What's next?
May I say something?
Sure.
So my duties is the billing, overseeing customer service, and working on work orders through customer service through the utilities department. Chrissy's responsibility back there is mainly to keep us in compliance and do all of our reporting. We really do need an extra person back there because our work has increased, and it would take a lot off of me that I am overdone with the work orders and the billing and trying to stay on top of everything. So it would help Christy, also give her some relief and have her be able to take time off like she should be able to, like everybody else does, and stay on top of everything. So
and better concentrate on the job.
Right. We can disperse some things across us a little bit better if we had an extra person. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys so you understand that between me and Christy, we're very overworked. So to have that extra person, it would be a tremendous, tremendous help. And I know that I know you guys are adamant against it, but they did take a position out to be able to pay for the help that we do absolutely need. Just want to throw that out there.
Thank you.
And what was the position they took out?
The gas
compliance.
that they're gonna put back in.
So they took, from what I am hearing from what Donald was saying, was that they took the gas compliance position out and dispersed those duties amongst the current gas technicians. So that's why he was able to eliminate that position to be able to pay for the administrative assistant position.
So if you're gonna hire somebody else, they have to be trained to help her do her job anyway, right?
They would be cross-trained. That way,
So-
if one was
so-
off, the other
so-
one could fill in. Yes.
So then why not cross-train somebody else within the facility?
Because nobody here has the time to do extra duties.
Or the skill at this point.
It's not even that. It's just that we just
But
don't
did
have
he
the.
not say they hired somebody for the
It was an internal.
They hired
They did
Right.
Internally.
So is that person just going to do locates?
Between locates and running the
Yes,
GPR, yes, and that'd be a full-time position with full-time work. Yes, sir.
So if you hired the administrative assistant, said they would do compliance.
Well, Christy, I assume Christy's going to continue doing all the reporting and compliance.
So what would the new person do?
The compliance for the electric, very, very little compliance with streets and parks, but manage the work orders and that kind of thing, and then help Aaron with the IT. I'm sorry to lie, with the fiber as far as managing the clients, turn on, turn off complaints, work orders, and that kind of thing. But with the volume of the projected internet process, it's going to be a lot.
And the work orders, how much work is or knowledge is required for that?
It's
You have two operators that are sitting up there. I know they answer phones and they get busy and everything else. You could utilize them as well. Could you not do work orders? Why are you shaking your head now?
not at this time, no, ma'am. No, not not saying there's not downtime here or there, just to be fair, but there's very little
It
downtime.
can't be.
They're overwhelmed as it is now, especially with all the complaints.
Right.
Yeah, the ones up at the front desk. It's not a time that I don't come up here. They're constantly answering the phones.
Working customers.
It's very difficult also to be consistently efficient with doing paperwork and those kind of things when you're constantly being interrupted. And their full focus is customer service. They do help out a little bit with work orders. They're the ones that create all the work orders. So then the back office, we close out the work orders. We follow up with the customers. We make sure that the guys are staying on top of doing the work orders. There's a lot that goes with it. So that is not their.
So they are doing some work orders.
They create.
They're doing the beginning parts.
They create the work orders.
But they're doing some of it.
They're creating them, yes.
Okay.
And they would continue to create them. That's their job as customer service. They create the work orders and then it gets sent to the back.
Okay. The way you were saying is they couldn't do anything with work orders.
No, they don't need to be closing. They don't need to be closing them out and following up with the customers.
Okay.
Mr. Bishop.
Yes, sir.
Do you think you and Donald can get together and come up with, tell us, put it down on paper? If we give you this other person, what is Christy's duties going to be? What is this new person's going to be in the expectations, job duties?
Absolutely. Yes,
and then maybe, we might have a different.
And who would they report to?
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to know all of it.
But, I think a lot of this could really have been diverted. It used to be, correct me if I'm wrong, that when stuff like this, a new position was going to be brought in and stuff like that, it was brought to the council.
Yes, sir.
This was kind of like, well, we're going to hire somebody. And that's how.
In all honesty, we told her no, wait for the budget.
So, but if it's communicated to us and explained, then
I think he's come up.
Before
the interview and.
Yeah, we'll have to do better, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but if you guys could do that, get together, come up with something for the next council meeting, we'll see what we can do.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Where are we at? What are we on, Donald?
Page
Mr. Barber. I'm sorry.
Page 57, sewer treatment.
Right. Sewer treatments. Okay.
I think we
Thank
finished
you.
sewer treatment. We're on sewer collection.
Yeah, we did. So
Yes,
we're on
ma'am. I mean, if you have any more questions on sewer collection, but I thought we had finished it, so I apologize.
No, I think we did.
Okay.
I think we finished all of them.
We still have sewer.
So sewer treatment, as the proposed budget that you see, we reduced professional services by 5,000. We reduced other contractual services by 10,000 to 30. We reduced repairs to equipment from the 25,000 to the 20,000. We reduced the vehicle maintenance from 12,000 to 10,000. And then for where is it here? Materials and supplies, we reduced that from 75,000 to 65,000. You will notice a new item, which is sewer post-treatment. And you'll see that's a new line, and you'll see that it's 70,000. And that number was given to us by our operators and by our engineers. This year, the sewer plant, with all the sand filters that we got on a grant, are required to go online full-time. They take a chemical called microseed that removes the total nitrates and will bring us into compliance for the new numbers that will be under starting starting January of 26. And that chemical, the cost for the year, we got the pricing on it, will be around $70,000. So that's something that we're required to do for the $3.7 million grant that we got as part of that new nitrate removal by DEP standards. So that's the big change in the sewer that we couldn't get out of.
So let's go back to the personal services. Number one, I don't know why they don't call it personnel instead of personal, because it's not personal, it's personnel. But you said that you had reduced
professional services.
Well, and I'm back up to personal services.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm back into the salary area. The number, you said you reduced that. Have you reduced it and not told us those numbers? Because it's showing a 69% increase.
So you're talking about total I didn't address personnel services. I was referring to professional service, the line item below it.
Well, that's what you just did, but before that you talked about the top half.
No, ma'am, I never addressed the top half.
Okay, well, good. Good start there.
She's asking, Donald, she's asking why personnel went up by almost 70%.
Yes, exactly what I'm asking.
We have 2 operators in that, and then administrative positions come out of that. So Selena, Megan, 25% of that salary is Jason Lee. The administrative assistant, my salary, Jonathan's salary, they're all broken up across there. The only 2 employees in that department fully are the 2 plant operators. That's all that's there. So as far as why there was an increase, I can't answer that. We didn't have any personnel changes there.
You had a public works administrative change. That was a change, wasn't it?
Well, yes, ma'am. I assumed that we all agreed that that was something we had spoken about. But, I mean, if you reduce 1/3 of that 29,000, that's not a 69% increase.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I was recognizing you're right about the admin assistant. I was just saying if 1/3 of 29,000 and that salary line isn't a 69% increase, that's so I don't know. We didn't change personnel in that unless Stephen just changed the allocation, which may have been a possibility. We may have allocated these salaries differently as far as administrative positions. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, he is. No, I said the public works administrator. That's a new position?
That's not.
Oh, that's him.
No, ma'am, that's not a new position.
It's not?
It's not, it's him.
No, ma'am, that's me.
That's Donald.
That wasn't a position last year, was it? It was supervisor.
Except it says the word we use is supervisor and
you have
Stephen
administrator.
has the word administrator. I think his job title is actually supervisor. We'll have to look on the staffing plan. It'll tell us for sure.
Okay.
It says administrator on the staffing plan. but in that total section, the total personnel services or personal services says it went up 69.6%.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know. That could be the allocation or how it was done with the admin staff. We could have done Jason Lee's salary different. We could have done purchasing. The account manager. I don't know. I don't know exactly what that ratio was. All I can tell you is that the staffing level did not change.
I know some of it's going to be Vicky, and it's coming out, and part of it's probably the new person that went in.
So where would the insurance and all that kind of stuff?
I don't know, and it's showing that that's going up so high. It looks like somebody went from part-time to full-time.
Life and health insurance went up, and workman's or not workman's health. Yeah, life and health insurance went up, and payroll taxes went up.
So yeah, remember workers' comp got a 25% increase just right now for based on the initial estimate. The same thing with health and life. They've got their built-in insurance increase there. The actual wages, just ignore all these other pieces for a second, went up by 25%.
Is the workman's comp
Stephen,
for each
is that from
department?
last year's budget?
Yeah, that's from last year's budget. So last year there was about 100.
So I can explain. Okay, so I can explain that one then. So if the council remember, the wastewater operators are transitioning, at least a couple of them, from trainee status, where they're getting very close to their license. They were part of the U.S. Department of Labor apprenticeship program through Florida Rural Water. And as they are going through that program, there are mandated payroll changes with that. So they have been getting increases for their licensing process as they've done the 2-year apprenticeship program. So some of that could just be the raises that they had received as part of that, getting their license. But as far as the amount of people staffed there, that has not changed.
So to Donald's point, those same two positions in last year's budget was about $15,000 less, just wages, than they are in the current budget. So last year, just again, not talking about the other pay, which is a function of on call and all that good stuff. Just base last year, those two positions were about $90,000 cost wise. This year it's 110. That's actually almost even more than 15. So that's just solely on changing the hourly rate, plus the 3% that's in there now.
Stephen, did you hear Councilor Jones's question about work comp?
I did not hear. I apologize. What was the question?
It was an odd question. Is the workman's comp different for different divisions, or is it the same divided across the board?
Yes. Yes, an administrative position is not going to cost you the same as a field position or a police or fire.
Okay, that explains why this one is higher, in my opinion.
And it also will move with the wages, the function of there's several pieces that go through it.
Right.
But one of them is as salaries go up.
Yep. I knew it was based on salaries, but I didn't know if it was also with the job description.
Both. There's actually a couple other pieces that all get mixed into that pot to come up with the rate.
And it makes sense. I just did that. Thank you.
So when you have a title of administrative there, that increases the workers' compensation?
If you have a new position, and again, you get 25% of the the way it stands right now, the admin, then that salary would also bring with it more workers' comp to this department.
And more retirement and more payroll taxes.
Gotcha.
And more health. Mm-hmm.
Understood. No.
So, Stephen, just to clarify, you're saying a field position or something identified as a field position is more expensive than an admin position?
Correct.
Okay. I thought he was saying it was the other way around. Okay.
No.
That's why I wanted to
sorry,
clarify, Mrs. Hines.
Yeah. I thought it was...
Field, police, fire, those field type positions are more expensive, not less expensive.
Okay. Thank you, Donald.
Hey, Stephen, on
Yes,
page
ma'am.
57, it's got in there for sinking fund. That's going away? Did I understand you earlier?
It's got for 2025, it's got a $20,000, but we did not add to that for 2026.
Okay.
Okay.
So the current budget that you're looking at to the council, there is $32,000 less being proposed now than there was in budget that you've received. So from the sewer treatment, we did remove $32,000 further.
Okay. All right. Next. What you have left?
Next one is page 58, which is solid waste. I don't know if Selena wants to go over this. I know that we're at a loss this year.
Yeah, we don't make any money on solid waste. It's pretty much a pass through from GFL. They will do a CPI increase. I don't know, Sue, if you've gotten a letter from them yet showing that. But there's really
3.5%,
there you go. So 3.5% is going to go up. We will pass that to the customer. But we don't make anything because it's just a straight pass through from GFL. It doesn't cover our administrative cost or anything.
So we can't get reimbursed for that?
Which I hate.
Yeah, and no.
If we ever sign a solid waste contract that doesn't have a franchise fee in it before again.
Yeah.
I
wasn't any part of the contract with this one, but no, the only thing you could do is, you do the pass through and then you charge the customer a little bit more, but I know that you guys don't want to charge them any more than we're already charging,
So who is this salary right here? There's like a partial salary right here. Who is that?
It's probably just Megan's salary.
Okay. Part of her salary.
Accounts payable. And it doesn't take her a terrible amount of time, but it does take up some time.
And what's going to happen if the county decides to charge the contractors to dump at their landfill, which they are discussing, by the way?
You mean like GFL to dump there?
Uh-huh.
And then they would just charge us more, and we would charge the customer more, unfortunately.
I don't know that the contract will allow them to do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they can amend it.
Councilmember Jones?
No, we just renewed it.
Councilmember Jones?
Yes, sir.
Terry had this problem last year. Levy County actually shut down for a time, and GFL called him and mentioned to him that they would have to take it to Gainesville in Alachua, and they would have to dump there, and that if there were any additional fees or any additional fuel, that the city would be invoiced. And Terry didn't hear from them, and so he followed up. And what he found was that it was actually cheaper for them to take it to Alachua, which is why they didn't contact us.
Yeah.
So I think that if Levy County were to do that, Sue and Selena could talk to GFL and just change where our disposal point is as a possibility. I'm not saying that'll work every time, but it is an option that I believe has been done in the past.
We sure need to keep an eye on it because they're talking about it right now. Even charging people, they've got the solid waste on the assessment, on the tax assessment, but at the same time they're now getting ready to charge people to go to the dump.
Correct.
So I can't see them not charging the haulers as well.
What's next? Are we done with this section?
No, water. Jones, water.
Water is next,
that
page 59.
Sorry.
Okay.
So looking at water, I mean, do you guys have any questions on personnel?
Other than the fact there's 9 people. Which is, I think, a
Well,
lot.
it's the admin stuff. It's not your field people. It's the admins broken out in percentages there across the enterprise fund.
I don't think I counted them.
To the
I didn't count them.
well, I mean, some of this is not correct.
Yeah, 6.
Okay.
Like, for example, there's not a water technician crew leader anymore. That's in the admin budget. That's $72,000. Steven, did you catch that? Alex went up to the admin.
Well, he was putting the
But I don't think that was
He was placed where?
right. But you have it fully funded out of water here.
Yes, that he was not. What he wasn't done was not split across. And I can do that for the next person if you want. But
So Alex
he's 100%.
went
Is
where?
that requesting?
She's the admin budget in general fund.
Well,
Again,
again, what Donald is saying is he rolled some of his supervisor positions up into a kind of the core utility admin section in the staffing plan. From there, they're still allocated out across, with the exception of this position, which is 100% water right now.
He's
And
definitely.
again, that also had to do with savings. That also had to do with savings from workman's comp and whatnot.
I don't know if it should, because he's definitely in the field working.
Yes, ma'am. I understand that. I was talking in general about that section. Anyways, besides the personnel, the changes to the budget that you have in front of you, we took the utilities line from 45,000 to 40,000.
All right, now wait a minute.
We
What
took
page are you on?
repairs to it. Yes, ma'am. That's 030-043. Under operating expenses, yes, ma'am. I believe it's the 5th one down.
Yep, I got it.
So we cut that back from 45,000 to 40,000. Repairs to equipment went from 18,000. We're cutting it back to 15. On the next page, page 60, we're cutting out the 45,000 for the valve exercise equipment. We're getting rid of that for the capital outlay in this year's budget. We're just not going to be able to afford to do it. So we saved $53,000 as to what was proposed in the current budget that you have.
And what was that again, Donald? Mr. Barber?
That's the valve exercise equipment. Mr. Councilmember, if you recall, we've had conversations about how many of the hydrants in town don't have any kind of shutoff quality. There's no valve ever been installed. It's a straight connection. And we've been wanting to, for many years, we've talked about it for 4 years, when a company comes in and installs a valve for us so that we can fix a broken hydrant, the cost for that is anywhere between $8,000 and $14,000 per hydrant. So Mueller sells a machine that the staff ourselves could own through the city and operate and train on, and we could then just buy the valves as we need them and actually do the install ourselves. And Jonathan and I have been proposing that for many years. There was a sinking fund for it. If you look down, there was $20,000 already there for a sinking fund for fire hydrants. Well, this year we were going to try in between those two actually buy the equipment. But seeing as that the budget's having, obviously a shortfall in these areas, we went ahead and canceled that out, and we'll just have to try and figure out how to do that out another time.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So those cuts to the water from what you guys currently have in front of you were $53,000 additionally that we cut.
But Donald, Donald, with that said, though, we do need to try to go back next year and reinstate that program for the value of that.
Right, which would be $65,000 to purchase it. So if the money is there, or, you know, we applied for about $60 million worth of grants. If we were able to get some of those grants awarded, we could also possibly take care of it that way. So fingers crossed.
Correct.
If you all don't have any more questions for the water, we could move on to the stormwater.
Actually, let me ask one question. Are there 2 water technician trainees and 2 water technicians?
The water department has last year and currently this year has 5. One is the meter tech, meter reader / technician. Then there is 2 that have their water license, which are technicians, and there are 2 positions where the people like our locator Zach, he transferred from the water technician. He was a technician because he had his water license, but he moved to become our locator, so that opened up that position. And when we open a position, I try and always make it the trainee position, the baseline position. I always start out there. So that's why it went back to trainee, Miss Jones. And then the other position was also a water licensed individual who found another opportunity in the community, and he left, I believe, last week. And he was a technician, but again, when he left, we put the position that he left as a trainee. I try and go, like you mentioned with Mr. Wolf in the facilities department, I try to go to the cheaper of the positions when they open up.
So they're going to be a trainee for a full year?
I mean, it depends on the qualifications. If we have through the application process someone come in with a license through the state, you know, they won't start that rate. Or if they have a CDL, you know, that'll be taken into consideration. But if what we try to do is on some of these positions, we either try to hire internally from other departments for opportunities, or we go out and try and find maybe younger folks graduating from schools, high schools in the community that don't want to go to college, and we try to start them out and teach them the trade that way. And then we just train them as they go in their years of service. That's our goal. We try to keep people in the community employed at the city.
So they're technicians until they finish. I mean, they're trainees until they finish whatever certifications they need to be full technicians.
Yes, ma'am. That's all mandated by the state. So they have to have a gas license, which takes 6 to 9 months, and they have to have a water license, which takes a full year through the Department of Environmental Protection. So when they hit that 1 year mark, if they've done all the things and the classes that they were supposed to do, they switch from trainee to a level 3.
Okay. But then they get that on-the-job training as well, hands-on.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Finish up with stormwater.
I can move on to the next one if you all are ready.
You were done with stormwater?
I hadn't started stormwater.
Oh, you haven't started, okay.
That's page 61. There are a few changes from the budget from last year. Keep in mind a lot of our engineering services come out of the stormwater. Wright Pierce, certain matches that we have to do with those that help us do grants, where grants don't cover the contractual services. The other thing that this was budgeted for last year, and many of you are aware of the zoning conflict with the county on Cornelius Williams. There was site work that was proposed to be done at the park this year, which was also supposed to come out of the stormwater budget, because the work there that's holding that grant up is the stormwater. So we did reduce it, though. We eliminated the repairs to equipment, the $15,000 from last year. We dropped materials and supplies from 75,000 to 40, and that was the changes that we made. So that was a little bit of a savings. And that's all I have, unless you all have any questions.
Kim, you're up for HR, and we're on page 20.
Good evening, everybody. If this is the old one we originally started, there's been lots of... No, we're good. No, that's not me. Is that me?
HR.
Yeah, that's me. It's past my bedtime.
I started saying, who are you?
Mine too.
No changes were made up to the top portion of it. But what I did was with the, I actually sat here, started cutting some stuff, the drug screening. Right now we're on target to spend 26. Up there I jumped it to 4,000, but I can drop it down to 35 because they're coming in about $80-$90 a pop. And if we do a random drug screening, it comes out of this for the certain departments that require it. So, and with me only being here a couple months, I don't really have an accurate snapshot of that. Then travel and per diem, I dropped it down to 15. We can cut it even more with whatever y'all would like to see. But the fiscal year, somebody wasn't really holding the spot the entire year, so that didn't give me an accurate number to kind of go off of. So I kind of went back to the 2024 and sort of added inflation to it.
So
I'm good with 15.
Huh?
I'm good with 15.
I'm traveling.
Yeah.
I'll get an extra one place then too.
And then dues and subscriptions, I based it off of last year, but I increased it 1,000 because some of these subscriptions that we have offer a lot of leadership training that we can do webinars, like we purchased the webinar, have supervisors and everybody in there, and kind of added in $1,000 to the dues and subscriptions for not just me, but for everybody as a whole. We've already purchased one that got postponed. So we're going to try and do one every month for just straight supervisors and higher, all the way up. Then I did drop advertising and promotions. It was last year budgeted at 1,000. We've only spent 263, so I dropped it down to 500. Let's see, training, schools, and seminars. There wasn't anybody, really in the seat for this year until I came along. So, I based it off of the 1,098 and came up with 25. Kind of just added a little bit of inflation. I'm not real sure what different things cost through municipalities. Like municipalities, for example, Latricia and I are going to ethics training tomorrow. So I don't really have something to budget based off of that for the training.
Do it again. I just wondered why you were doing it twice.
And then I did increase employee incentives to start giving out like certificates of appreciation. We did the first round this morning, kind of trying to do the years of service, purchasing out of my budget, all of that to incentivize.
You said it.
Incentivize.
Yeah.
You said it.
to kind of help build morale. And then ADP, I don't know what that is. We don't use ADP anymore. It's a payroll service, and we use Edmunds, right, Selena? Yeah, we don't pay ADP, so I don't know.
So what's the difference in the price of ADP and?
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, we thought we did.
Whatever Edmunds.gov is, you probably need to put it in here.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen, did you hear that?
ADP removed.
That was
No,
something.
I'm not sure.
That was something
I
that
can
was
look it up,
added a
though.
while back.
Say it again, Stephen.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is for the $1,000. I see $50 last year, and of the $560 projected for this year. I'll try and do some research on that, see if we can get rid of it.
Perfect.
Well, she said that we have a different payroll service, so.
And it may have a module that needs
Well,
to be there.
Yeah, we don't
wouldn't be
use
her,
a
though, would it?
service per se. I thought maybe it was some kind of like some add-on, for a EAP or something, but it really does. The numbers don't look right. It could just be a something was coded in the wrong spot. So I'll take the action item to figure that out.
And then background checks, I basically went off of fiscal year 2024. I do know that we are using I have a mind blank. We're using Checker, and we add on the license, and then school verifications for people that have certifications through schools. Those are about, the last one was like 160. Yeah, it's like 120 to 160 a person. And then the printing and binding, I'm working on updating the HR manual because of with the new administration, some of the federal laws have changed. And the printing and binding, and we're going to be renegotiating the CBA, is cost to pretty much make those available to reprint them to everybody because they're like this thick.
Make sure we look at it before you print it.
Yes, yes, it's gonna go through you, but some of the things in there that they need to be updated because the administration federally has changed certain things. So I'm working on that. And then I did add in office supplies for there's a printer in there, and there's ink, and it's for like printing out confidential stuff. I can't use these printers if I don't want people to see it. And then I did add repairs and maintenance. To add on filing cabinets because the personnel records that are in here, we have to keep them for 50 years. Yes. 50, yes. So right now they're currently in boxes in there. So if everybody's been there, those 2 long wide ones, I'm hoping to purchase 2 more to remove the desk that's in the back that I don't use. Because a lot of things have to get stored for X amount of years because we are a municipality. We're, everything's subject to public records. So that's what I was going to do with the repair and maintenance, was to purchase the filing cabinets to maintain this stuff for 50 years.
And right now you guys are keeping them in boxes?
Well, the current personnel are in the office. The personnel that are not here anymore,
you're trying to find them, right?
But what I'm currently doing is I have from the time I got here people that
Aaron turned you up, that's why.
But anyway, the people that have left since I have or just before, since I had taken over, that there were files in because that office was a mess. So after filing everything, I found people that have recently departed. They're in a separate drawer right now because I don't even know where to begin or how that's even organized in there. So I've kind of got them separated from pretty much January of this year. They're all in the HR office, and then I don't even know what's in there. I've rummaged through them doing a public records request, and nothing's organized.
Okay.
believe
Right.
it.
Anything else? Any comment?
Nope.
No. Everybody good?
Who's doing purchasing?
Oh Lord. We almost done. Can we take a break?
We got some more in here too.
On IT department.
Hopefully this will be
Can I
fairly
take a
painless. Figure out where I'm at here.
Let us
Excuse
know
me.
what page you're on.
We're taking a
Can
10-minute break.
we're gonna take a 5-minute break.
5-minute break?
You better be quick.
Okay.
At 10:41. We'll be back at 10:45. So that's 4 minutes.
10:45.
Yeah, you got 4 minutes.
Aaron, what page?
26.